From the National Weather Service in Raleigh, it's Nick Petro with your routine Thursday weekly briefing for Central North Carolina. Today's briefing covers the period today through next Wednesday, the 24th through the 30th of September. And welcome to this briefing for all those who are watching it live on the webinar and for those who watch it after the fact on YouTube. Thanks for being here. So real quick, I thought I'd start with the current radar, which shows some very light rain moving across portions of North Carolina at this time. We have some along the coast, some basically across the triad regions and the foothills and the mountains. So basically, it seems like it's the northern half of the state that's getting it right now. But the rainfall amounts are pretty light with this. Rainfall rates are very light. So nevertheless, whenever you are out there driving on wet roads, always slow down to avoid hydroplaning risk. As we look to a bigger version, a wider view of the radar, if you will, we could see, let me get my drawing tools out here and I'll try to point out a few things. First of all, this circulation you see here is the remnants of beta. And notice all the rain, the swath of rain associated with these beta remnants. All of that is going to be headed towards the northeast, and eventually over the next 2 days or so, we'll see all of that basically drifting across the Carolinas. So that's going to be our main weather story as we head through the next basically two days through about midday Saturday. All right, so that's kind of a look at what's going on right now. I always like to start off with the tropics, looking at the tropics this time of year, because remember, we are in the peak of the hurricane season. We're in September. The official peak day is the 10th of September, but really all of September is typically a busy month, and even October. So, but they're unusually quiet right now for late September and for as busy as it has been. But the main weather story as it relates to tropics is the remnants of beta. And as I pointed out just a moment ago, all of that rain will be sliding to the east-northeast here as we head through the next couple days. And you could see there, that's the main player there in our weather next few days. So a couple inches of rain will be in the offing for us as we head through next few days. Friday particularly will be the wettest of those days. And but it looks like the chance for that rain really will continue into early Saturday before it all moves out into the east. So anyway, that's really the main impactful day of this briefing. Of the next 7 days, essentially Friday, tomorrow, is going to be I would say the worst weather day, because that's when the heaviest rain is going to occur. That's when the risk for flash flooding will be the greatest, and the risk for an isolated damaging wind gust or even isolated tornado, mainly south of Raleigh, will be the case with that storm, or at least a remnant low passing by. So that's our main, I guess, hazard and impact day is tomorrow. Okay, so that system will be exiting by midday Saturday, then dry behind it for late Saturday into early Sunday. And then early next week, we've got a cold front that will approach on Monday, and that'll bring another chance for a few passing showers, but much lighter rain than we'll see tomorrow. And then the middle of next week, there's a secondary, more reinforcing cold front, if you will, probably on Wednesday. And then behind that, we have Canadian high pressure, cool air mass moving in, so turning cooler later next week. So as we head into looking at the details in terms of how much rain, as I mentioned, beta will bring about 1 to 3 inches of rain to central North Carolina over the next 2 to 3 days. A few spots could see a little more. And again, the result of that would be isolated flash flooding. I would expect to see, although I don't really have a lot of details to share right now in this briefing, I would expect to see some rises on the rivers. But 1 to 3 inches of rain should not necessarily cause any major problems on the rivers. Particularly if it's on the lower end of that range. Obviously, if it gets any higher than 3, then obviously we'll be sending out some slides and some graphics as it relates to potential river flooding. But right now, that doesn't seem to be a big concern right now. Obviously, if things change and we end up on the heavier range, heavier end of that range, then obviously we'll bring you updates as it relates to potential river flooding. We'll bring those updates over the weekend if needed. So anyway, if it's on the lighter end of that range, obviously that shouldn't cause much of a problem. So anyway, I think our bigger problem might be localized poor drainage, urban poor drainage flooding, maybe some flash flooding. So that'll be the main thing we're going to be watching out for as we head through this weather event tomorrow. Okay, a cold front will bring some light rain early next week, but again, the amounts then should be fairly light. And this slide just basically highlights which portions of the state which portions of the Carolinas will have the greatest risk for flash flooding. So as you go up the color scale there from green to yellow to red to purple, the risk for flash flooding gets greater. And you can see, the yellow there is sort of like level 2 out of a 4-level range there. So, and that's mainly from US 1 rather, Highway US 1 eastward would be the main concern for flash flooding. Basically, the area that's going to get the heaviest rain during the day tomorrow. But essentially, anywhere across North Carolina, for that matter, could see some localized flooding as we head through the day tomorrow. All right, so moving on here, the severe thunderstorm potential tomorrow will be confined to locations generally south of Raleigh, south and east, over back toward areas just south and east of Charlotte, Fayetteville, Wilmington, Morehead City, Greenville, basically that general vicinity and region, portions of the Carolinas. So look out for an isolated damaging wind gust. An isolated tornado can't be ruled out with any of the stronger cells that move across on Friday. Again, not expecting a major amount or major coverage or outbreak or anything like that. We're just saying here with this darker green shading that there could be an isolated severe storm. All right. So that's really, again, the main concerns here as we head through this briefing period. The remnant rain from what was beta tracking eastward, moving across our area over the next 2 to 3 days through about midday Saturday before it ends. And then late Saturday through mid-Sunday should be dry. And then the cold front that early next week will move across the region. That'll bring another chance for some light rain, but not a whole lot. And then turning cooler for later next week. And then as we look at, again, the specific hazards and impacts, periods of rain on Friday will lead to an increasing risk for flash flooding. So remember, slow down when driving in rain. Never drive through areas where water covers the roadway. Isolated damaging wind gusts and an isolated tornado can't be ruled out with Friday's weather system, but that will be mainly to the south and east of Raleigh. And then finally, while the tropics may be quiet right now, we're still in the peak of the hurricane season, so don't let your guard down. And remember that many of our most impactful past hurricanes have occurred during the month of October. So we got a long way to go yet. So anyway, don't let your guard down. So that wraps up our weekly briefing for Central North Carolina for this 24th of September, 2020.